the new ownership group has totally changed the energy among the fan base. On the field is a totally different deal, but how do you best, Joe, kind of capture just how different the energy that surrounds this team feels?
I mean, it's night and day. And you know, I think you could feel it before the game. These players have felt it during camp with the way fans have come out to just watch them practice. The end of the game, fans, those that were here, were making a ton of noise. You know, he talked about RFK Stadium and how hard it was to play there as a visiting player. And there were years here where it just felt like the Washington team didn't have that much of a home field advantage. And
they didn't.
And this place was loud.
Yeah.
And it's August 21st. So I think everybody feels it, that this has changed and changed for the better.
Yeah, I mean, Troy, those days were legendary days when they were then the Redskins and the Cowboys. That rivalry was as good as the National Football League had. No one's saying that's going to happen overnight, but the energy is different. And they're going to need to lean on Sam Howell. They talk about what you put on tape. Through your eyes, what did he put on tape? What did he show you tonight?
Well, I was impressed, and I like what I had seen of him coming in. And not only last week in that preseason game, last year in the game that he started, I thought he did some good things. He did some things that you kind of scratch your head about it as well, which is what happens with a young player. So you go back to then what he did as a college player, and I think the fact that he was a 3-year starter really bodes well for him. And there was a time, Scott, after his sophomore year that a lot of people were projecting him as a first-round pick.
No doubt.
And then some people left and had some injuries, and I still think he had a good good junior year, but in the eyes of the draft experts, he slid, and he winds up being a 5th-round pick. So I think that there's more there than what his draft status would indicate. And I do believe that oftentimes we put too much of an emphasis on athletic ability and arm strength. And I believe that so much of the position is making good decisions and then being accurate with your throws. And if you can do that, you can get away with a lot of less athletic ability. And he's got good players around him. And to me, the key is how does he process and really this offensive line as well. Now, they didn't face this Ravens formidable defensive front, but if they can protect him like they did tonight when they get into the season, which is a big if, he has a chance to have a pretty good year.
We'll talk Ravens with Ryan Clark a little bit later. I want to pivot with you fellas about the first game that you'll be calling. And it's, I don't know, man, you get guilty in our business of overhyping things, but Jets-Bills feels as significant as a game possibly could. Joe, you guys have been doing this together for a long time. But as you guys ramp up and prepare for that, I'm interested in what you both kind of see coming that night in the Meadowlands.
Well, we know this. He's only going to make the debut one time, and we get to cover it, and we get to call it at ESPN. And it's a big thing. It's not lost on us. It's not lost on the network. I think it was certainly nice when the schedule came out, and now we're getting there. Now we're getting there, and we're seeing how the Jets are being built with Coach Saleh and the pieces that they have there, and what Aaron has inserted himself into with this trade is a team that's got a lot of talent. I mean, a defense that was good last year. He's got receivers that are good. He's got receivers that he knows. The question is going to be the offensive line for the New York Jets. That's well documented. But I can't wait to get to New York. Can't wait to see them practice in person and sit down with Aaron, a person we've talked to seemingly hundreds of times all those years with the Green Bay Packers, and to get his real feel for where they are. He is so honest, I think even publicly now, but with us, we'll have a good sense of where he thinks they are going into that game. So it's going to be a big night.
Yeah, Scott, that was the game that every network wanted.
That's right.
And we're kicking off the season with it. So it's a marquee game. It's a huge game, and for it to be the Jets, who are a really good football team. I know there's people saying, yeah, you know, Aaron, and now all of a sudden they're talking Super Bowls, and I think they should be. That defense is outstanding. They've got excellent offensive players and the 4-time league MVP. But I also know that Sean McDermott and Josh Allen, they're kind of the forgotten ones in all of this. And I know last year how it ended for them. But Josh Allen, when you talk to people that are there with Buffalo and in that organization and have seen him in the offseason and now in training camp, there's a hunger to him, and he didn't lack it before, but there's a hunger to him that they just haven't seen before. And it's going to be fantastic to see them come in and kick off the season in the division play and try to let at least the Jets know that, hey, we're still here and we're not going anywhere.
Well, we're still here doing SportsCenter, not going anywhere either, but I look forward to being there with you guys in person doing Countdown. It's going to be a lot of fun to get a chance to work together, some on the road. I've certainly appreciated these conversations and look forward to more of it as we get together there in the Meadowlands. All right, fellas?
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, us too. Thanks, Scott.
No doubt. Joe, Troy, thank you very much. As SportsCenter continues, I should add the Terry McLaurin injury. X-rays negative on that toe. So there you go on that one. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+. Tells us